Hello everybody, welcome to Bike Scoop from Performance Bicycle. This is our weekly talk show that we have most Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from the Chapel Hill office. But we've been doing these Fridays from the field segments, kind of unannounced. And so today it's Friday, we're out in the field. We're actually right down the street from our main office at Breakaway Cafe. And today we're talking with Andy, who's the owner of Breakaway Cafe. Andy, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Zach.
Yeah, appreciate it. So I'm going to be honest, we heard that Breakaway Cafe was going to be opening up here like a year and a half ago or so, maybe a little longer. We got really excited at the office because it's so close. There's a coffee shop here, a cafe, and it's cycling themed, which is totally awesome. So why don't you just tell us real quick, what inspired you to make a cycling themed cafe?
It started in 2008. My wife, my father-in-law, and I went on Cycle Oregon. 5-day trip through rural Oregon with 2,000 other people in spandex with really great food, huge sense of community, great coffee, beer, wine every day, and it just really gelled. And we got home and we wanted that to keep going. And we lived in Massachusetts at the time. We found where we wanted to open, and then somebody opened the exact same thing we wanted to do. Fast forward a couple of years, we moved on to North Carolina, and we just started looking for the right spot, and right down the road from Performance.
Imagine that.
The right spot.
So let's talk about the inspiration that's kind of trickled in and out of the cafe here. So it is cycling themed. So First and foremost, it's Breakaway Cafe,
right?
Which is breaking away from the pack.
Best part of the race. Few hardy souls daring to do what the whole mass can't do. Get up ahead, getting chased down by the group. Sometimes they win more stuff and they get torn apart.
Yeah. And you've sprinkled the cafe with so the password is Ridley and then a bunch of numbers. Right. Why don't you run us through kind of the cycling theme stuff that we have here?
All right, so left to right.
Let's go left to right. The middle one's really cool, but let's start all the way on the left. We've got an International Cycle Show poster over there.
So that's from the race in Central Park in New York that's been going on for 20 some odd years. One of our customers is one of the early racers there.
Oh, cool.
And then we've got a signed 2010 HTC High Road Tour de France team. Another customer donated that. Lombardia is one of my favorite races of the year. It's the race of the falling leaves in Italy.
And the leaves are falling here right now. So the color scheme of the poster is appropriate for this time of the year here in North Carolina.
Our patron Saint Sally gifted us pink jersey from the Giro d'Italia, and right next to that is an actual Tour podium lion. So those are only given to people that wind up on the podium at the Tour de France, either winning a stage or the GC. And that one's, all she'll tell me is that's from the 80s, and she won't tell me how she got it or whose it was.
But it's from the actual podium of the Tour de France, that lion up there on the wall. That's super cool.
And then the much maligned 100th anniversary Giro d'Italia mascot. No one liked it. They were actually banned from Austria for some reason. Olympic track poster from the Los Angeles Olympics, Tour of Martha's Vineyard, and then the Tour of Somerville, which is a road race that went on for, I think, 25 years.
And then lastly, we've got, what do we have here? These kind of like little KOM.
Another customer did a trip and got some VIP tent action. So the actual napkins in the VIP tents at the tour are shaped into jerseys, amongst the other decadence of it.
And then we've got a Roubaix poster. This is all from Paris-Roubaix here.
And then Tour of Flanders. So it's the 100th anniversary of the Tour of Flanders. Same year, Paris-Roubaix, two of the monuments. And then from American racing, one of the first great American racers in Europe, Greg LeMond, Team Z.
That's cool.
Kind of got me into bike racing.
So we're going to talk about coffee and cycling specifically here in a second, but you also have some cycling themed entrees that you can get in the cafe, right? We have the KOM breakfast.
Yep. So wheat toast, braised lentils, fried egg, pico de gallo, avocado, meant to be a good base energy, long lasting, so that you don't peter out by the end of the ride.
Right.
A lot of long acting carbs there.
Okay, and then we also have the Lombardia, right? This is a sandwich. It's delicious.
Ciabatta, chicken scallopini, goat cheese, olive tapenade, roasted red pepper, balsamic reduction.
I'm getting hungry. I just ate.
I love the Italian races and Italian food and heritage.
And so, speaking of Italian culture, the Italian heritage, that's where kind of coffee and cycling started, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, I mean, it's kind of been around everywhere for a long time, but some of the original roots trace back to Europe, right?
Yeah, the espresso machine was invented in Italy in, I think it was mid-1800s.
Okay.
And huge part of Italian culture spreading to France, Belgium, Germany, Netherlands, Spain. You'll find coffee everywhere. Like that whole band of Europe is all the hub of road racing, cyclocross, and all along the way you get a lot of, we're riding to the coffee shop and then back.
And we were talking earlier, there's a really cool, note about Merckx, right, and his training style.
Yeah, he was sponsored by a couple different coffee companies. He was known for having this brutal training regime where he would take the entire team out on these epic marches, 6, 7, 8 hours long, but they always made time for a coffee break.
Yeah.
He was a cannibal. He chewed up his competition, he chewed up his teammates, but still made time for coffee.
So let's talk about the benefits of coffee while you're actually riding. What is it going to help you do while you're on the bike?
Caffeine is going to increase your heart rate. It's going to get you going a little bit faster. It's going to help you metabolize your sugars a little bit faster. Study after study just shows the positive health aspects of coffee, and it's not just 1 or 2 cups, it's up to 3 or 4 cups a day, which cyclists definitely benefit from.
And there was even an article that came out recently in the New York Times, right?
Right.
It's kind of confirmed all that.
So at Indiana University, medical professor did a comparative analysis of about 14 long-term studies of tens of thousands of people and found zero health detriment to coffee, and by and large you had lower rates of heart disease, cancer, muscle issues, muscle fatigue. So coffee is a wonder drug.
I personally totally love it. I like to start my ride off, especially in the early crisp mornings with a couple of shots of espresso. What about you?
Yeah, espresso is definitely not too much volume. You get packs a big punch.
Yeah, and so are there any coffees you want to stay away from before the ride? Because there's all different there's black coffee. A lot of people just drink black coffee, and then espresso is kind of black coffee on steroids.
Yeah,
right. So much more concentrated.
So we're talking 2 ounces as opposed to 8, 10, 12, 20 ounces that people drink the regular coffee.
And drinking too much black coffee before a ride, it's a diuretic, right? So that could lead to bad things during your ride.
Yeah. For the most part, it's going to kind of balance out the amount of fluids you're taking in, taking out. One thing it can do is make you jittery, which I don't know about you. I don't want to bomb down a hill and be jittery on the break. Yeah. So I personally try to avoid that. I keep it to 2 before a ride,
Gotcha.
Maybe 1 at the break, and then maybe like a mocha at the end.
Well, let's talk about the break real quick. I'm kind of like an Americana guy with a splash of cream, kind of mid-ride. Is that something you'd agree with, or do you have a different route, or what do you see typically?
I see a lot of people going lower volume. Splash of cream for sure. Around here, a popular drink for mid-ride is the cortado. It's a Spanish drink. It's 2 ounces of espresso, 2 ounces of milk, just enough to cut it a little bit, take away some of the bitterness. You add some of the sweetness from the milk.
And then you mentioned a second ago, the mocha is kind of like a really good recovery coffee drink.
Yeah, I mean,
it's got chocolate in it.
You see the ads with all the Ironmen that chocolate milk is the ultimate recovery drink because the fat, the carbs, fast sugars, protein. How would it hurt to add some coffee to that?
Yeah.
Not at all. Just
totally delicious.
Most of us have things that we need to do after a long ride anyway, so having a little coffee to get you going doesn't hurt.
So we mentioned earlier it's a big social aspect to riding, right?
Right.
So we just talked about kind of the benefits of drinking coffee. What are some of the benefits of riding with a group of folks and starting and ending your rides at cafes and coffee shops and stopping at them along the way? Because that's something that a lot of cyclists frequent and do here frequently.
Yeah, I mean, we tend to do better when we ride in a group. You get the performance benefits of being in a group. So congregating at a coffee shop, it's easier to get people together. When you have a goal, like a quick sweet or a cup of coffee in the middle, it makes doing a little bit longer ride more appealing.
Yeah, give you that little boost.
And then it's always nice to spend a little time with your friends afterward, catch up, compare notes on the ride, talk about the next one.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think that wraps it up. Andy, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And again, thanks for opening this awesome cafe right down the street from the Performance corporate office.
Well, the Performance corporate office just happens to be someplace that's great to ride bikes.
Yeah. So that's it, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I'm here with Andy at Breakaway Cafe. I'm Zach. This is the Performance Bike Scoop. Again, typically happens on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we've been doing these Fridays from the field editions, and today we're here at Breakaway. So Andy, thanks again.
Thanks, Zach.
We appreciate it, and folks, tune in and go get that coffee and enjoy the weather this weekend and get out and ride, all right?
Have a
Cheers.
good weekend.